Alright, you lot, let's talk about idioms. Idioms, idioms, idioms. They cause a few problems for me. So as well as teaching pronunciation, another thing which is heavily involved within my pronunciation course is native expressions and idioms and phrasal verbs. And the one problem that I have with my students is people tend to learn, especially in school in other countries, people tend to learn idioms which we don't actually use anymore. Some idioms can sound really outdated. So today, here for you, I have the perfect list of idioms that people use in the UK today, right now, every day, general expressions that we can use, okay? Idiomatic expressions. And of course, a quick disclaimer, I do need to tell you that these idioms are informal. You cannot use them really in a formal situation. So, well, let's get straight into it. I'm gonna give you a situation for this first idiom. I work at home. Okay, I live in quite a small place. Because I work at home, I spend all of my time at home. I don't really get to go outside. And I find that staying inside all day, it tends to drive me round the bend. And that's right, that's the idiom, drives me round the bend. Something can drive you round the bend. And this basically means that something can make you really bored or really angry or annoyed about something. So people could also drive you round the bend, which means they just make you a bit frustrated, a bit annoyed, and sometimes bored. Next idiom, does your head in, or does my head in, or doing my head in. If something does your head in, then it's something that really annoys you. So this one is quite related to the last one. I want you to use the idiom in the comments, and I want you to tell me one thing that people do that really does your head in. Now listen to the connected speech between D and I on head and in. Does my head in. We move the D to the beginning of the next word. Does my head in? Because the combination of consonant and vowel always pushes together. So it does my head in, head in. So one thing that really does my head in is when people chew really loudly when they're eating. You know, that kind of, yeah, I can't stand that. So annoying, I hate it. Guys, if you're chewing, chew quietly, close your mouth and enjoy your food. I don't need to enjoy your food with you. So yeah, if something does your head in, it annoys you. That's it. Now this one is used a lot. I actually heard this one yesterday from a friend. He said he was feeling under the weather. Now, pronunciation. Under the weather. Under the weather. I think a lot of you probably already know what this one is. If you're under the weather, then you're feeling sick. So I could call my friend and say, I'm feeling under the weather today. And sometimes in UK, we also say that we're feeling rough. Oh, I feel quite rough today. And that just means I'm not feeling great. I just feel a bit sick, hungover, tired. A great one to practice this is a mini tongue twister. Practice the TH sound. My mother is feeling under the weather. It's perfect for the schwa sound and for the TH sound. Try and do it faster. My mother is feeling under the weather. So yeah, if you're under the weather, you feel sick. I want you to think right now, think of a time when you were really, really happy. Some great news that you received, something great that happened. If you want to share it with me, write it in the comments. But instead of saying that you were extremely happy about this situation, you could say that you were over the moon. Pronunciation, over the moon. Over the moon. For example, I was over the moon when I discovered ETJ English on YouTube. Thank you. Really, really common one. At the end of the day. At the end of the day. Of the day. So if we're explaining something to someone and we want to finally kind of skip what we've been explaining and give the final piece of information, the most important part of the story, the result, the thing that we're talking about, we would say at the end of the day before. For example, my parents want me to become a doctor, but at the end of the day, it's my decision. So it's like saying, no matter what, after all of this, the main result, the most important thing is, it's my decision if I want to be a doctor. Really common, this one. If you use that expression, people will love you. They'll think you're using a real native expression right there. If someone's really annoying or they're acting stupid, then I could tell them they need to get a grip. It's kind of similar to when people say grow up, you know, when someone is acting stupid and they need to get a grip. And it basically means to make an effort to take control of your emotions. So if someone's crying constantly because they've just broken up with their girlfriend or boyfriend and they're really sad and they won't stop crying and it's been weeks and weeks and they're still crying, I might just need to say, oh, come on, you need to get a grip. Or I might say, come on, get a grip of yourself. Control yourself, move on, continue, behave calmly. So we usually do this as a command. We'll tell someone they need to get a grip. I could also say, I need to get a grip of a situation, which basically means, yeah, I need to control myself in this situation. I need to control my emotions. Now, have you ever heard the idiom, a piece of cake? That was a piece of cake. It means that something was really easy. Now, I'm not teaching you this one today. No. This is more American. If you want to sound more British, you actually want to use quite a vulgar term, using the word piss. So instead of cake, we actually say, that was a piece of piss. Pronunciation, the word of is not important, so we replace it with a kind of schwa sound. So instead of saying piece of piss, we would say piece of piss. Piece of piss. It means it was really easy. But what if I told you that someone was taking the piss? If someone is taking the piss, then it usually means that they're mocking someone or joking about someone or something. When I was younger, I used to work in a retail job before I became a teacher. And there was a guy who worked in this job and he had a massive, and I mean massive, forehead. His forehead was huge, right? So we always used to take the piss out of him. We used to make jokes about his forehead, take the piss, okay? And we used to say that we could ride his head like a surfboard because it was so big. We could surf on his forehead. I know it sounds bad, but this is a bit of a culture lesson now. In the UK, we have this thing called banter. And it's a very common way that friends or people have fun with each other. If you're comfortable with someone, then you might find that they will take the piss out of you. They'll make jokes about you. And it sounds like bullying, it sounds horrible, but it's actually showing that you're friends with each other. If someone told me, oh, you've got long hair, you look like a girl, I would be offended. But if one of my friends or somebody I'm comfortable with, decided to start calling me Ellie or something, a female name, I would laugh because I know it's just my friend saying it and they're being friendly. So yeah, we have this thing where we take the piss out of each other, make jokes about each other. And you can say to someone, oh, don't take the piss. And that basically means stop. So there you go, there's your idioms. Don't forget you can join my pronunciation course at etjenglish.com, start improving your spoken English. And if you did enjoy the lesson, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, turn notifications on, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers guys, bye.